podcast where we interview industry professionals who act down. And I have the ultimate act down actress with me, Miss Lauren. You know what? I should have asked you this before. How do I pronounce your last name correctly? I think I know, but I want you to say it.
Could you give it a shot first?
Buglioli?
So, that's my favorite rendition ever.
Okay, gotcha. What is it?
It's Buglioli. But
Buglioli.
when I was a preschool teacher, I was Miss Ravioli.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's a really fun icebreaker for me to be like, how do you think you say it?
I love that. Buglioli.
Yes, perfect.
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
Now, what ethnicity, nationality is that?
So my family is Italian,
Gotcha.
and it's funny, I fought to keep the last name because when my grandfather's family came over from Italy, there was a lot of discrimination towards Italians,
Wow.
and he was encouraged to change his last name, and
Yeah.
I fought to keep it because he fought to keep it. So I don't care how people pronounce it because it's a great icebreaker, but I just feel proud to have kept it because a lot of people discouraged me from keeping it because it's hard to say.
It is. Well, Miss Ravioli, I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
So I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
You are, so I have a class called Mastering the Audition, which I believe you've taken.
Yes.
To me, you are like the ultimate actress who has mastered the audition. And I mean that like seriously, because I always get auditions from you and they're always super strong. They're always a little different, a little unique, but never to the point where I feel like it's like over the top or like way too much. Like I feel like you've really mastered auditioning. And of course, like I know the general public, they don't get to see all the auditions that you have. I don't. I only see what you send me. But how have you done it? Like I want to go deep into your process because you're a really good actress, but also a really good auditioner.
Thank you.
So what does that process look like? Like when you get sides, when your agent calls you, what do you do next?
Thank you so
Yes.
much. I honestly, I think it's an ongoing process of, and really finding where you can play, where you can connect to a character, where we were talking a little bit earlier about breaking rules.
Yeah.
And I am someone who historically has gotten into my head. And I think I always have to come back to this place of how can I be of service to the story? You talk about that in your class, which I love. How can I be of service to the story? How can I get out of my head and find kind of a flow state and embody this character, have fun, and they're mine for the next 5 to 10 minutes when I'm rolling. So I think this sense of coming back to a sense of fun and play and reminding myself why I do it.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about the job is the icing on the cake, and it's so true. I mean, auditioning is the job. Yeah. And I think things really shifted for me when I started to look at every audition as conditioning for where I was headed. Yeah. And you look back and connect the dots and see why you need to be malleable and learn how to play all kinds of characters so that when you're given an opportunity, you can step into it. Yeah, you know? So I think my process is connecting to them as much as possible, finding a sense of play, and then in the moment, not trying to forecast what the audition is going to look like, but allow myself to be surprised. Yeah. You know? So.
And I will say, like, just for, and I feel that when I watch your auditions. And, like, the amazing thing is, and, like, I feel like there are certain actors, particularly, like, within the Southeast, that as a casting director, like, oh, I know I'm going to get something good. And, like, you're one of those actresses that it's just, like, I know whenever I send you an audition, it's going to be something that I look forward to seeing, like, what your performance is. And I think that that's very rare and special to have because it's like, oh, okay, it's not just me doing a job trying to fit, find someone for the role. Like, I'm genuinely feel like I can't wait to, like, watch, like, what is Lauren going to do? Like, let me see the artistry in her auditions. And you always beautifully do that in every single audition that you have, which is why I'm not surprised at all the amazing success that you have, because you have a way of just artistically communicating that in your audition before you ever get on set. So
thank you.
So bravo to
that
you.
Means so much. Thank you.
Bravo to you.
Thank you.
So you're a theater kid at heart.
Yes.
Can we geek out a little bit?
Please.
Okay. So, do you have a memorable growing up theater experience, either that you've done or something that you've seen?
When I was 4, my parents took me to see Phantom of the Opera.
Oh.
And I was terrified that Phantom was going to take his mask off. And I was beside myself, and one of the ushers had me go backstage in intermission.
Yeah.
And the actor took his mask off and showed me his costume. And it just felt like I got to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And my parents were really wonderful about taking me to see theater from the time I was little.
Yeah.
And there was always just this magic and reverence. And I remember, I'll get choked up, but I remember sitting and watching theater as a kid and wondering, do they know how lucky they are to get to do that? It's always just felt like this deep, deep appreciation for that craft.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing about auditioning, being on set, all of it, trying to hold on to that, that pure why we do it in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the thing that'll keep me going. And you fall off because the industry is the industry.
Absolutely.
And people are tricky and, the world.
Yeah.
But I think coming back to that pure love of something is what keeps me going.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
But shout out to that actor who had me come backstage and took the mask off. And I think just, actors are magic. So
it's so almost poetic, the taking off of the mask too. And for you to get a chance to experience that at 4 is dope too.
And then when I love kids because I used to be a teacher, but I'll always have kids come backstage when I do theater and allow them to try on the costumes. And it's you got to pay it forward. Someone did that for me, so
I love
keep it going.
And from what I understand, you are a triple threat. You sing. Are you?
That's so nice.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You sing, you dance, you act.
I do.
Do you have what's your top 3 Broadway? I know this is a hard one. It's kind of unfair, but top 3 Broadway shows, performances that you love.
Oof. Well, I just saw Audra in Gypsy.
Oh, how was that?
It was spiritual.
I've heard.
I'm not okay. I'll never be okay. I mean, she just, she's astounding.
Yeah.
And I saw her speak recently on a reel she did on Instagram talking about how, and I just thought this was so beautiful for actors, so I want to, if they haven't seen it, she talked about her mentor coming backstage, another show she did, and said to her, you have to stop it. You're worried about this character being liked. It's not your job to make the audience like you. It's your job to make them understand.
Ooh.
And that, I mean, I'm fascinated by mindset and psychology. And I think without showing an audience, really understanding and embracing a character. And I watched her in Gypsy and I thought, I love you because I understand the kind of pain your character's in and why it led to the choices she made. So I thought her Rose was beautiful.
I have to
see
this. Okay.
Yes,
All right. Yes. All right.
She's incredible. So
Gypsy?
Yes, Gypsy, you're gonna have to tell me stop yapping because I could
No,
yap
you're
about Broadway
good. You're good.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. I got to see Hamilton, which I just feel very grateful to have seen the original cast of Hamilton.
Oh, nice.
And I saw not Fun Home, but I Missed the Mountains. What was it? That song, I Missed the Mountains. I'm blanking on the name of the show, but someone's watching it screaming at me. I'm being a really bad theater kid. I'm blanking on it's the song from the show is I Miss the Mountains, and it's when this musical first came out.
Look it up. I Miss the Mountains.
Thank you. Next to Normal.
Next
I'm
to
sorry
Normal.
to all
Okay.
my theater babies, but I emotionally black out when I do podcasts, so
No,
bear
you're
with
good.
me.
I think we all do.
I saw that, and I just think, a show about mental illness you don't often see, and I just thought it was so beautifully done, and that song is absolutely stunning. So I think seeing that, just how theater can hit you on topics that you might know nothing about or might deeply understand, and it just hits you in a new way. And I think those 3 shows, seeing those were very transformative. But just Audra, I mean,
I know.
I'll never get over that.
She's such a gem too.
Yes.
Do you have any stage goals for yourself? Like, do you want to, okay, so what are your stage goals?
Oh, man. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
I love theater. It breaks my heart in a way that nothing else does.
I know.
I would love to do theater in the West End. I was raised in London randomly, and went to the American school there. I would love to go back to the West End to do theater because I did theater as a kid, like off West End.
Yeah.
I would love to do off Broadway or Broadway. So the dream has always been to hopefully make a name for myself in film and television and then go do stints on the West End and Broadway.
Nice.
But I would love to do cabaret.
Ooh.
I would love to do Blythe Spirit. And I mean, I'd love to do new works as well. So yeah, thanks for asking that.
I didn't know that you grew up in London.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that you got your training for theater in London.
I did.
Wow, first of all. And what was, or can you talk about the differences? Because I've heard a lot of things. Like I've heard that the way that London treats theater is almost how America we treat like gym. Like it's just a part of your, So what was that experience like, you know, getting your training in London?
I was really, really lucky. So I went to the American school in London, and I had an instructor, a teacher and mentor by the name of Buck Heron, who I was with for 4 years in high school training with him. And then on the weekends, I went to a school called Sylvia Young Theater School. And my teacher there, when I was 11, her name's Tara Lignos. She's now like one of the heads at Apple, which is wild. But she was a teacher and an entertainment lawyer and a former actress. And the first week of her class, she had me do the Honey Bunny scene, which is the opening scene from Pulp Fiction at 11. So if anyone's seen Pulp Fiction, most 11-year-olds don't get to do that scene. So I stood on a table and, you know, was pretending to shoot up a restaurant. And the next morning she showed up at our apartment, our flat in London, and asked if she could train me and take me through the Lambda exams.
Wow.
So to your point, they take it very seriously. I studied 4 exams where I would do a Shakespearean sonnet and a monologue at each kind of benchmark of these exams. Yeah. And so I would go to school during the week, and then on the weekend train at Sylvia Young Theater School, and then on Sundays go out to her house in Wimbledon to train with her.
Wow.
And Buck Heron, my teacher at ASL, and then Tara, absolutely changed my life because I think they saw how much I loved it, and they mentored me and took me under their wing. And still, you know, I did community theater 9 years ago in Florida, and they both came to see the production of Cabaret I was in.
Oh my gosh.
So they've always cared in a way that I think so many people can extinguish a light in someone else. Yeah. And being lucky enough to have people who didn't say, you can't be an actor, you can't be an artist. And I was lucky my family felt that way too. Yeah. But I hope to give that to other people to say, like, no, you can do it. Because I feel like if I'm a testimony for anything, it's that you can do it and you can figure it out. And the road is winding, and you never know how it's going to happen, but it can. Wow. You know?
So where other places have you lived, worked? Have you done LA? Have you done New York? I know you said Florida.
Yep. So I was born in LA, lived there till I was 4. My mom started me in the business when I was 6 months old.
Wow.
Thank you, Mama. Yep, she saved for college, and I have a car thanks to her. So
my goodness.
She just tucked everything away. So shout outs to Mom.
Thanks,
Moms
Mom.
everywhere. Thank you, Mama.
Yeah.
And she always said, if it's not fun, we'll stop. Wow. And that kind of set the bar for me.
Yeah.
And she'll say to this day, you need to have some fun with this. Like, you're getting a little too serious.
Yeah.
Like, remember why you do this. So shout out to her. We moved to Ireland when I was 5. Then we moved to Florida, and I did commercials and stuff out of Orlando. Then we moved to London for middle school, high school. And we were only supposed to be there 6 months. Wow. And because I had an authentic American accent, things started happening for me in terms of acting. Yeah. And my family said, you know what, we'll stay. Like, let's just keep seeing how it's going. Yeah. Maybe we can make this work. And I graduated from there. So I was really lucky. It was incredible.
What did it, like, I love seeing the role that parents play in their child's growth and evolution. And I think it's super special, especially for parents in the arts. Because I feel like it's when I would think terrifying for me to be like, okay, I'm about to say it's okay for my child to go and pursue a career in the arts, knowing everything there is about it, knowing all the ups and downs and the highs and lows and the stories. But like, I love that your mother, from such a young age, supported you in what you're doing. Like, that's such a beautiful blessing.
I feel so lucky. I had to overcome my own fear more than their fears.
Oh, wow.
Which so many parents can accidentally project their fears.
Right.
And I moved from London to New York at 18, screen tested for a contract role on a soap then.
Oh, my goodness.
And almost left school. It came down between me and another girl, and I'd worked so hard to get into Tisch. And almost left, and that scared me senseless.
Wow.
So I thought, you know, I love children and I love teaching. I'm going to get my degree in education, and I'm going to get health insurance and a steady paycheck. And my parents were like, are you sure?
Wow.
Like, you've always wanted to do this thing. What's happening? And I just also had a crisis of conscience because being blonde and 18, I was, you know, going out for certain roles that I thought, I've been pouring my heart out on the stage, and now you want me to be girl who is having sexual relations with man. Unnamed woman. I'm like, okay. So I started working with kids with special needs, fell in love with it, did theater for a stipend in New York to keep that going, studied at UCB, studied at Stella Adler, Lee Strasberg, and I thought, you know, I'll just always have this on the side.
Yeah.
And my soul kept being like, no. I went back out to LA at 23. LA did a number on me at 23.
Really?
If you think being blonde and 18 in New York is hard.
What do you mean by that? Yeah.
I moved out to LA and sat down for lunch with the manager who was representing me. And after I paid for lunch, he said, so what are we going to do about your weight? Because you're not going on any meetings until you're underweight.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, oh, my. And I was out there with my dear friend, Allie Stroker, who since has won a Tony for Oklahoma. And she looked at me at one point after a year out there, and she's like, your soul's not in this anymore. You need to go home.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was something, we were in San Diego, and she's in a chair. She had been surfing that day with an organization called Life Rolls On, and I stood on the beach and just wept watching her, like, overcome another thing that, you know, is just unimaginable. And we went to lunch, and she said this to me, and I'm like, yeah, this is God moving and saying, like, of all the places you could be right now, this is not where your heart is being fulfilled. So I went back to New York, taught at an inclusion preschool for children with special needs, and then my mom got diagnosed with MS a few years later. So I moved back to Florida. I was teaching preschool at the time, taught at a spin studio, and I saw they were casting cabaret. And that was like bucket list role that when I tell you I performed that in its entirety in my bedroom growing up.
Oh.
And there was a song that Sarah Bareilles Ellis wrote called Used to Be Mine from Waitress.
Yeah, I love that.
And I heard it when I was teaching, and like the bottom fell out. And I just wept because I felt like I'd really lost myself.
Wow.
And as much as I loved teaching, I felt like, okay, all the pieces of this industry that have tried to make me something I'm not have gotten me, and I'm just going to go audition for this show. And the people who were casting it said, we knew you were either crazy or really good. Because I went in like in a fur coat and a slip, and I gave them my soul in that audition, and I got to play Sally. And the thing I'll say is it gives me a lot of comfort to know I can be as fulfilled doing community theater as I can on any set.
Oh, that's so good.
And I think God needed to show me that.
Yes,
you know, I think the road went because I know I'll always have it, and I don't have to wait for permission. You know, and I think some of my best work was in Tara Lignos's class when I was 11.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's why I love class and I love auditions. Because even if I fall off and I get a little grippy and want the job too much, I can come back to, wait a minute, I can perform a song from Cabaret in my car as if I'm up for a Tony. There's nothing keeping me from pouring my heart out. And I think that's the thing about it that I love so much is like we all contain multitudes.
Yes.
And acting allows us to express whatever's in us, you know?
I Love that you said that. And the reason being because I always tell actors, like, it's okay for you to define what success is for you. So if success is you doing community theater and teaching preschool, great. And I feel like so many actors, and we've talked about it a couple times on the podcast, it can get addicting to be constantly pursuing like the next thing and the bigger role and the series regular and then the guest star and this, and it's like, but to be in the space of actors act, and you can be completely fulfilled in a community theater doing what you love, and that is success. Like, you've won there. It's something I'm so happy that you said, because so many actors would feel like, oh, well, this is just a stepping stone towards something else, when it's like, this can be a beautiful landing for you until the next opportunity comes.
100%. And it's so interesting. People in this moment will be like, well, what's next? And
Yes.
This moment.
Yes.
I have worked so hard for this moment and just want to be fully in it and appreciate every second. And it just feels like, to my younger self, like, this is why you kept going.
Yeah.
And to then, I think the trap is to make it about you.
Yes.
And just seeing, you don't know what kind of day your grip is having and what kind of day, your stage manager's having, and number 42 on the call sheet, like how they just need to be seen. And because I think you see if it had happened a second sooner, I wouldn't have been ready.
Wow.
And I think every moment taught me, and I will say till I'm blue in the face, God bless Tyler Perry for conditioning me to be ready for a take.
Oh, I love that.
Because,
I love that.
In the moment I'm in, you got a take.
Yeah.
And there's and I'm so glad you're a theater kid too, because this job is a dream, because it's like theater and TV had a baby.
And you say Beyond the Gates.
Yes, Beyond the Gates. Yes, yes. Soap operas move very fast. It feels like a very, very long play.
Yeah.
And there's 4 cameras, and you get a take, and it's your responsibility to take care of your character and to show up ready with your choices. And I think if I had been 18 years old asked to do that, I wouldn't have known what hit me.
Right.
And God bless 18-year-olds who can do it.
Yeah.
But I look back now, and just for any actor who doesn't understand why they're in the moment they're in their journey, every dark night of the soul, every emotional winter, every moment I doubted myself was preparing me to not doubt myself, to not, like, it's all, you look back and see why it takes the time it takes.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that you're at that place in your life. And I hope that encourages actors, because I think I get a lot of questions where people are like, I've been doing this for 2 years and 4 years and 5 years and nothing has happened. And it's like, you're right where you need to be. Now, don't give up, but you are also like right in the exact place that you need to be for your own growth and evolution.
Yes.
And I love that you said that.
And I love to, like, it's so easy to look to the tangible booking for
Yes.
evidence that it's working out.
Yeah.
And I love to look for God winks.
Ooh.
So, like, one of mine was when I moved to Atlanta after doing some theater in Florida. I thought, I see what's happening in Atlanta. I'll take a year and I'll see what happens. So I moved to Atlanta. I taught at Vibride, and Miss RHAVYNN Drummer showed up in my spin class.
Yes.
And I just remember being like, oh, that's God letting you know you're on the right path. Because my mom is one of those moms who's like, you know what? You need to work with Tyler Perry. And I'm like, let me call him. Let me call him real quick. But from the beginning, she's been like, I just have a feeling. So what's so funny is, sorry that you've encouraged my mama. Because she's always like, see, I told you, like, you were going to work with Tyler Perry.
Yes.
But that was such a God wink moment of like, you can't see the thing that's coming, but I'm letting you know you're on the right path. Like they're just, and I think, if you look for those moments, you'll find them. The audition is a God wink.
I love it. Yes.
And
just so you guys know, like, so you're my favorite spin instructor, just so you know. I know she doesn't do it anymore, but I would wake up and I would take like your 6:30 or something a.m. class, and I loved going to your class. And then I'd go home and shower and then get ready for work.
Thank you.
And you would always leave like a quote or something on the mirror, and it was just a great way. Like it's so interesting that you laid the framework for my day, because like it was like, oh, okay, me as a casting director, and like Oh, I feel like I'm not about to preach, but it's so interesting when I think about, when you said it's not about you and it's about giving. Like, a lot of actors are very focused on, like, how can I get here? You were a giver, like, without knowing it. Like, you were giving to me and helping me start my day as a casting director. Even though most actors are like, okay, what roles do you know? But it's like such a very interesting space to be in from a giving standpoint, and you gave of yourself beyond the art, just the fitness aspect of it, moving your body, being positive. It was so good.
Thank you for saying that. I hope this resonates with someone and they can steal it. But along the journey, if the dream was to be a series regular, I always said to myself, how can I condition myself for that now? Because I'm not going to arrive in that moment and suddenly know how to show up on set and give if I'm not practicing it in the coffee shop, in the spin class, in my 4 side hustles when I'm getting 4 hours of sleep a night,
right?
And then doing theater for the love of it. So I think what has helped me, and I'm still doing it every single day, is saying, okay, practicing showing up, getting dressed for the life and role I want, and interacting with people in a way that I feel like leaves them better and more full, hopefully. So thank you for saying that, because I think like 2% of it is the work sometimes.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you're on set for 17 hours and you're not practicing how you want to show up and give and be on 3 hours of sleep working 4 side hustles, then how do you do it when suddenly you've got the pressure of being number whatever on the call sheet? And
I wanted to talk about that too, because so for everyone to know, Lauren, you are a series regular on Beyond the Gates. Beyond the Gates. And Beyond the Gates is a soap opera on CBS, correct? And it is the first African-American daytime-led soap opera on CBS.
Yes.
So this is like history that you're a part of, and you film it here in Atlanta.
Yes.
And you're a series regular. So many actors want to be series regulars. And I think not enough actors know the demand on that role. It's not just about you book the lead role. Like, there's so much responsibility that comes with, I'm a part of carrying a show. Can you just speak to that? Like, what you were kind of talking about it already, but what are the demands on you as like, oh, okay, I am this series regular for this role, and I have to show up. And it's not just you, it's like the crew is dependent on me showing up every day as my best self. Can you just talk to that a little bit?
Absolutely. So I'll start by saying we have the most incredible team who sets the most phenomenal example. It goes to show, and you know this because you are this in the industry, you can be kind and graceful and giving and grounded and loving and at the top. So Sheila Ducksworth, who partnered with the NAACP and CBS to create Beyond the Gates with Michelle Valjean, who I love so much, she's the first woman of color to create a soap.
Wow.
Like the kindest, most loving, encouraging human beings on the planet. Julie Carruthers, who is our incredible executive producer, 3 women at the top of this who set the bar, run things with complete kindness and faith in their team. So we have the ultimate example in them, and then numbers 1 through 4 on the call sheet in Clifton Davis, Tamara Tooney, Daphne Duplay, and Carla Mosley. I'm learning every day from them because the demands on them, we've got 200 episodes, and they're in almost every episode, and they are kind and supportive and have taken everyone under their wing. So seeing that they have sometimes, if we're shooting 130 pages a day, they might have 40 pages, 50 pages of dialogue a day.
Yeah.
And, I might have that in a week.
Wow.
So just to get a sense of their demands, I'm always watching and learning from them. And I love Daphne, who plays my best friend on the show. And the first day I met her, I said, I'm so excited to meet you and work with you and learn from you. And she goes, honey, I'm always a student. I'm always learning. And I'm like, and that's why you're where you are.
Yeah.
Like that humility and that mindset. I'm just in awe. I think the demands, what's so interesting is I had to learn how to say no. I love to show up for people in my life and be at every event and support in every way. And you have to prioritize your sleep. Yeah. You have to prioritize your self-care. You have to prioritize your nutrition and what you're consuming in terms of like positive messaging and all that encouragement that we need to get to the thing. It continues and it keeps going. I think, when I'm not on set, I'm working with a coach, learning lines, reinforcing those lines to be ready for that one take. So I think we were talking about auditioning, reminding yourself that love of process is only going to be continued when you get the job.
Oh my gosh, even more. Yeah, for sure.
That's, I think this soap has taught me that love of theater and how you fall in love with a character and want to take care of them and make the audience understand that's this moment I'm in for this character, and just seeing the writers hearing that like they don't sleep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For 200 episodes. I mean, and these scripts are incredible and we're so lucky to be playing these characters and wanting to take care of them. Yeah. So to say, okay, sometimes I hate it, but I have to say no to that event because I need to be at home preparing so that I'm ready to pour into this character and the cast and crew on Monday,
I love that a part of preparation is not just you being in the script and in the script analysis and character development. It is, what do I need to conserve for myself so I can be available? Like, I had a director, and when we started work, she was like, all right, so I need you guys to work out at least 3 or 4 times a week. I need you guys to make sure that you're eating healthy. I was in the best shape of my life when I did that project. And I was like, oh, this was a part of preparation. This was our conditioning to get us ready. Like, we had to be feeding ourselves nutritious foods. And I love that she implemented that into our work to get us to our character work. And I love that you said that, because it's not just I spent all night in my script.
Right.
It's like, oh, did I treat my body well so I have the energy to actually have the stamina to do this.
Another mentor of mine who I know you know and love, Richard Warner.
Love him. He was my college professor. Yes.
Love. Yeah. He said, remember that you're an athlete of the soul.
Oh, an athlete of the soul. Wow.
And that, I mean, again, it goes back to that reverence for what we get to do.
Yeah.
You never know how a story is going to affect someone's life. And I'm just always in awe of connecting the dots to see why I went through certain things and why I've had certain life experiences so that I could fully pour into a character, You
have to live life. I always tell actors, they're like, how do I get better? I'm like, you have to live. Like, you have to have experience. You have to get your heart broken. You have to do all of those things help you become a much better artist. So it's 100%. Not just about like, solely fixating on this. You have to live, And I
used to, I took that break I've had some health issues that I had to get through. And then I taught for a while, and I always thought, man, what would my life have looked like if I hadn't had to take that break, if I hadn't gotten sick, if I hadn't, taught. And I thought, now it's all hitting me that nothing was an accident.
Nothing,
and I think just seeing my time as a teacher informs so much. And every heartbreak, again, when you're in those winters, like the dark night of the soul, you're like, I don't understand why it isn't happening. I want the thing. Yeah. Well, you think the thing is going to fulfill you. And it's just, then there will always be another thing to look to fulfill you. Right. So it happens when you get it,
Yeah.
So it's just, very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Now, how long have you been in Atlanta?
I've been here 7 years.
Wow. So how has Atlanta blossomed you as an actor, as an artist? And I'm like, you could, you have been everywhere, but you could have, and you still can go anywhere, but like, you could have landed anywhere. How has Atlanta changed you?
Oh, how much time do you have? I love it so much. So my mom's from Atlanta, so I came to Atlanta as a kid. Only ever knew Cumberland Mall because my grandparents took me to Piccadilly and Cumberland Mall.
I love it.
So there's a lot more to Atlanta. But it's interesting. I feel like they're definitely my angels, my grandparents, because if you told me I'd be in New York, LA, London, and that things would happen for me in Atlanta, and I lived 10 minutes from where I visited them growing up, it's just, I think there's this sense of it feels like home.
Yeah.
And it's the community here. Unless there's a new studio, I think I've studied at every studio in Atlanta.
Wow.
I love Atlanta actors. I love that there is a rising tide lifts all boats mentality, that when someone wins here, we're all cheering because we know the talent here. We know what people are capable of. And I just love to remind myself that like a zip code is a zip code, you know, we're all actors, and, you know, there used to be a little bit of a local higher stigma. Yeah. And I was on a show in another state and they were talking about that. And I was like, that's actually where I'm based. And they went, what? And I said, yep, because sometimes the person from LA is from Indiana, and we're all just human beings doing this job. So I think, you know, it's exciting to see Atlanta continue to evolve and to cheer people on here. But it's given me so much. I mean, I love the theater scene here. I love Atlanta actors. I love the studios here. And people have genuinely been so supportive. Nice. And I think just that wanting to see each other win, that wasn't my experience in other places.
I was going to say, do you feel like you found your tribe here?
I feel very lucky.
Okay.
I feel very lucky. It took time, and I think, you know, I have a group of friends that we all genuinely love to see each other win, and I think you just sometimes need to realize that in other markets, I think there was a sense of, I'm going to get to the top and it doesn't matter how many people I step on to get there. Yeah. And as a preschool teacher, I was like, but do you want a hug? Are you okay? You know, like that doesn't have to be the way it is. And I've seen that it's so much more fun to get to the top together. Yeah, you know? And Atlanta embodies that for me, you know? I love that. And it's more fun to be happy for people.
I love that.
You know?
That's beautiful.
Because don't you want other people's dreams to come true?
Of course. Of course.
It's and I think the idea that people can show you what's possible. Yeah. You know? And
yes.
Some of us today, we're speaking into existence, like, I'll see you on set. And we will.
Patrick.
And those moments are so meaningful because you see it happens. Like, you couldn't have told me 7 years ago in that spin class that I'd see you on set one day.
I know.
And I remember being on Young Dylan and thinking, like, in what world does this happen that I then get to see you on set? So I think, again, it's just you finding people that are evidence of what's possible rather than your competition changes the game.
I love that. I love that. That's so good. All right, so I have questions that I ask everyone.
Okay.
And you are one of the people that we will ask. So this is fun. All right, so what has been your favorite age thus far, and why? And you don't have to tell your age, but you can just say, what's your favorite age thus far?
Yeah. What's interesting is I didn't expect this answer, but I'll say I was 18 and the bottom fell out. Like, I didn't have my health. Everything fell apart. And I had to leave school and I had to fight to get healthy. And anything that's good about me now was born in those moments.
Wow.
So I always think, like, I have to thank that version of me who kept going.
Oh,
and who, you know? So it's like, I just say that because I could say right now because things are rosy and, you know, and listen, life is always lifing. Yes. But I think to remind yourself in moments where things feel bleak that you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep going, and you're going to get to the other side of whatever you're going through.
I love that. I love that. I love that you thanked your 18 years old self who went through that hardship. Ooh, I love that. If you weren't an actor, artist, what would you be doing? And you may have said it, but yeah.
I mean, I'll out myself here. I really would love to give a TED Talk one day. I would love to speak. I love mindset, and I love reminding people who they are and what they're made of. So I'll just put it out there that I don't know what it will look like, but I would love to speak one day and encourage other people.
Now, do you have any books, speakers that you yourself love to read or listen to, podcasts?
Yes. I love Brendan Burchard.
Me too.
Love him.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Oprah's life coach, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I love Brendan Burchard. Just thinking who else. I love Mel Robbins. Yeah, I love Oprah. I mean, if I need two things that I'll type in Oprah inspiration or Tyler Perry inspiration. Yeah. If I need Sarah Jakes Roberts. Girl Get Up.
Oh, I went to her sermon. Conference a couple years ago. It was amazing.
And I think it's like that's why I share the 18-year-old. Like sometimes greatness is born out of our darkest moments.
I know.
And I think we all want the mountaintop, but it's like no, the climb there. And there's always new. But I think just to be reminded that it's not about the attaining of the thing, but the journey there. So anyone who reminds me of that, and Sarah Jakes Roberts, whenever I need encouragement, I'll listen to Girl Get Up.
We definitely listen to the same people.
Yes.
Sure. All right. Do you prefer a brunch or a happy hour?
So I prefer a brunch.
Me too.
Yeah,
yes.
I prefer a brunch.
Yeah.
I just, after 9 o'clock, if I'm not on set, I'll get a little loopy and a little tired. And so, I'm not a huge, going out girly. I'm more of, a morning girly.
I was going to say, you must be a morning person because of all the early, the early morning teachings.
Yeah.
What do you love about being an artist? You kind of answered it, but what do you love about being an artist in the Southeast?
It really, being here encapsulates... just you wait. We'll show you what's possible. We'll show you what you're made of. And I love that, and from a loving place, not an angry place. But I think people have a commitment to excellence here because there's a misunderstanding of the market sometimes.
Yeah.
And, I think I love seeing people win. I love seeing people's journey, and there's been so many opportunities to celebrate greatness in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's good. What's the most challenging thing you've done lately?
The most challenging and rewarding thing I've done lately is being on this soap opera.
That's good.
And I think it's just a reminder of the dream kicks your butt in the best way, And it was funny. My mom came to visit over the holidays, and she was like, "Sweetie, you can take a break. You don't have to be running lines every day, and you don't." Because I hire a friend to get on Zoom with me and drill the lines and rehearse, and I was like, "Mama, I love this, right? I want to be on Zoom with my friend doing the thing I love." And so I think reminding myself when to turn it off, because rest is part of your job as an artist. But I think it's reminding ourselves when it's challenging that it's this is what we live for at the same time.
I love that you say the dream kicks your butt. And it does. And it's sometimes the thing that you've asked for, and when you get that answered prayer, it's there's a lot of work that goes into that now.
It will continue to grow you.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's new moments every day where I'm and I used to say this when I was a teacher, there are certain things you can't learn from a textbook. There are certain things that you learn on set, and having grace with yourself to say, that was an opportunity to practice this, and now I've learned this, and next time. So instead of saying, did I get it or did I nail it, every day I'm what did I learn?
Yeah.
Because then it sets you up to be looking for the growth opportunity rather than to get it right and be a show pony.
I love it. I love that. And last question, what makes you feel alive?
What makes me feel alive? Failing.
Oh, that's a great answer. Continue, please explain. Yeah.
I am a recovering perfectionist, and I loved when I was a kid. I played some weird stuff, but I'd play apartment where I was a woman with a dog living in an apartment who was a teacher, and I would give out gold stars to children.
Wow.
And I think I just really wanted to be a woman with a dog in an apartment who got gold stars. And I think I was conditioned, I think it was just part of who I was, to go through life looking for the gold star.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, where's the growth opportunity? Where's the opportunity to fall on your face, show yourself it's okay? And that's where greatness is born. That's where you grow. I mean, when things are just smooth, and it's not that we have to struggle, but when things are smooth, and you don't necessarily clock the learning opportunity,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's the auditions that sometimes you walk away from and you're like, like I could have had more fun with that. I could have taken a risk there. I could have, and not to beat yourself up, but to say, next time, I'll remember that. And that's why I love class. There have been moments in classes where I've fought the urge to get it right, but I love class because it's an opportunity to just fall on your face.
Yeah.
And I'd rather fall on my face in class and then implement it in the audition, you know? So you just see how it's all connected and there to grow you, you know?
I love that. I love failure makes you feel alive. That's so good. Lauren, we're so lucky to have you.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
You are such just so special, period, and especially, you know, within this industry. So thank you so much for doing the podcast. I know that you're busy working, so you're not teaching. So Lauren also teaches as well, but she has a very busy schedule right now being a series regular. But can you, how can people, I guess, gain from you? Like social media, what's the best way for people if they're still interested in learning more from you?
Absolutely. I'm on social media, Lauren_Miss Ravioli, just kidding. Lauren_Buglioli. And yeah, I try to put stuff out there on social media that's encouraging, hopefully. And I think I'm a professional hype woman, so if you need encouragement, hit me up and we can voice memo back and forth. I hope to go back to teaching. I think it's part of taking care of myself. It's, you know, when you teach, you pour into people. And I think I'm giving myself the gift of pouring into myself as well right now, so that I can pour into other people. And I think if you need encouragement, find me on social media and we'll be friends. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
Give it up for Lauren Buglioli.
Hey.
I think I got it. Yes.
You nailed it. You nailed it. But thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
One question for Lauren.
Yes.
Just one. You're a triple threat.
Stop it.
I'm not going to ask you before. I would love to. But I am curious, in the dream world, what triple threat would you love to share an opening number with?
Ooh.
Well, that's
Who would
fun.
that be? Yeah.
Ooh. What other actor would I
other
love
actor,
to?
actor would you
Gosh,
love to
that
share
is.
on Broadway?
I mean, I'm gonna swing for the fences and say Audra McDonald because we
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking about her.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I just, again, like surrounding yourself with people that you can learn from. That, I mean, talk about a masterclass. I got to see her in Gypsy, and I'm obsessed. So, she's But I have a laundry list if you want to call that in together.
I think I would say Lynn.
Lynn?
Yeah, I would have to do an opening number with him.
Yes.
For sure. He's a friend in my head.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes. And let's call it in.
Right, exactly. So there's a question that I always forget to ask,
Oh, yeah.
but let's ask it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so this is it's a little game we play called Build a Movie. All right,
Ooh.
so you are the main character in a film. Who would be your co-star?
Oof. Main character in a film. My co-star. I would say Viola Davis.
Ooh.
Just because please let me be opposite that greatness. Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Who would the director be?
Wow. Just because I want to step into my Hello Sunshine era, I'm going to say Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, I love. We talk about her a lot. Yeah. That's a good one. What genre would it be?
Dramedy.
Okay. And where would this be set?
London.
Okay. What would the plot be? That's the hardest one. Yeah.
2 actresses. 2 actresses, and if it's a dramedy, I think I would want it to be about coming to what's really important. Like I think the identity, something about the identity trap. Like I would be the washed up actress, and Viola would be having all the success, and I would be like, low key as a diva trying to sabotage her because maybe and. It's getting to the realization of what's really important, which is my friendship with Viola.
I love that.
And maybe
Viola, I love you.
Yes, Viola, I love you. Straight to camera.
Yes.
But I love, we see it with athletes, we see it with artists, I remind myself every day that something can go away as quickly as it comes because you don't want to get attached to it and think it gives you purpose and meaning outside of your soul, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it would, and Reese would direct, and you would cast, and we'd all go to London together.
Loved it. Awesome. All right, round of applause for Lauren.
Round of applause for you.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible. I loved it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So fun.
Of course.
So
I'm
fun.
so happy we can make this